Hey there everybody, welcome back to my Flosstube channel. I'm super excited to be filming today. I have several things to talk about, so we're just gonna hop right into it. Today when I'm filming is Monday, April 4th, and today's actually my birthday. So this is what I get up to on my birthdays. Very exciting, I know. But today I am 24, so very exciting. Yeah, I got to spend the day hanging out at my house alone, which is literally my favorite thing. I'm very introverted, so I really like being able to have some space sometimes. So, yeah, pretty much hung out. I got my coffee. My first name is actually Cece. I don't usually go by my name on the internet, but yes, I got my free coffee from Caribou Coffee, which is a coffee chain in the Midwest. I'm from Wisconsin. I go there too much. So, but yes, I did that, and I got some really good progress last night on a cross-stitch project, and I also whipped together another project bag that I'm really excited to show you guys. So, yeah, before we start with the actual Flosstube stuff, I do have something like unrelated to Flosstube that I just want to talk about. So if you want to skip that, I'm going to be putting video chapters like I did last week, so you can just click and skip ahead if you don't want to hear me talk about my personal life and you just want to hear about my cross-stitch stuff. So this is actually something that has been going on for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I meant to mention it in my last Flosstube video, but I just like completely forgot. So this time I made a list of things I need to talk about, and this is on the top of the list, even though it's not related to cross-stitch. So around the beginning of March, our furnace started having issues. And like I said, I live in Wisconsin, which if you're unfamiliar with the geography of the United States, Wisconsin is almost like as north as you can go. Not quite, but it's pretty far north. We border Canada, so it gets quite cold here, and it stays quite cold until, May-ish. So it's still been hovering around, 32 to 38 degrees, which for my Celsius viewers, which is literally every other country besides the US, that's like right around freezing, a little bit warmer. So just around 0 to like 1 or 2 degrees. So it's been pretty cold still. I like winter a lot, so it hasn't been bothering me, but yeah, since our heating went out, it got very cold in our house. And we rent this place. We live in it is a whole house. We don't live in an apartment complex. But how they do it a lot in our area is they will take a really old like multi-level house, and they'll just pretty much split it in half. So the top floor is one apartment and the bottom floor is a different apartment, and they're completely separated. That way they can get the most money out of us as possible. So that's what we live in. We live in a divided house. So we have like a normal, American household furnace in the basement. So we had to get a guy to come fix it, which means like they have to come through our house, and I have to move all my stuff. Our basement, you access it through literally like a hatch in the floor in one of the closets, and we keep stuff in there normally because we don't usually go down there since it's just the furnace and the water heater. So we had to move all of our stuff out of the closet, which is a whole production, and they sent the maintenance guy. He pretty much didn't know what was wrong with it, so we had to wait a few more days, and they sent a guy from like an actual HVAC heating company, and we thought that he fixed it. Then about 2 hours later it went out again, so they sent another HVAC guy, and he fixed it for like 3 days. In this whole thing, they replaced 3 separate parts on the furnace. I'm not gonna like go into specifics because I'm sure most of you like aren't like into furnaces, so you won't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, they replaced a bunch of parts, and then it was fine for a few days, and then it went out again. And then we had to wait another few days because, of course, this always happens on the weekend when they don't have anybody to send. So then they finally sent a guy last Tuesday. Today is Monday, so it's almost been a week. And he finally fixed the furnace, actually. But yeah, it's been very, very stressful. I don't really do well with strangers being in my space and my schedule being disrupted. So as you can imagine, this was very not great to have like 4 random guys coming in and out of my house. And I kept thinking that it was fixed and then it just wasn't. So, but yeah, on the plus side, our furnace, the fan on it used to be extremely loud. And one of the parts that they fixed, somehow fixed the fan as well. They did not replace any parts in the fan or the fan motor or anything. Just whatever parts that they changed out made it a lot quieter. So that's really helpful. I used to have to stop filming when my heat came on, but it's on right now and it is nowhere near as loud as it used to be. So yes, that made my last month very stressful. So that is another part of the reason why I missed a couple weeks of Flosstube. I just needed to vent about that to really finish getting that off my chest because it's been driving me crazy. But yes, our house is now finally warm and not 58 degrees Fahrenheit anymore. So that is very good. I'm so sorry if I'm like sniffly at all while I'm talking. My allergies are going crazy. I'm pretty much allergic to everything in the world. Whenever people ask me what I'm allergic to, that's what I tell them. So with the spring thaw and everything, all the pollen and mold and all that stuff is getting kicked up and I'm just very snotty. So please excuse me. But anyway, let's get into talking about cross stitch, which is what this channel is supposed to be about. So in the last week, I've done a lot of cross stitching, but it doesn't really look like it, unfortunately. So I think in my last video I mentioned that my Bohemia cross stitch from Gecko Rouge had shipped and I wasn't sure when it was going to be in. The estimated delivery date was like last Monday, I think it was the 28th, but I really wasn't sure if that was actually going to be the delivery date just because like it's overseas shipping and everything. But it actually did come last Monday. That was insane. It literally shipped in like 3 business days, which is very like insanely fast, especially for, again, overseas because it's coming from the UK and I live in the US. And I don't live anywhere near the coast. I am literally like in the center of the country. So, but yes, so I have Bohemia now. So I've been working on her quite a bit this week. She's a very big stitch and it's my first time doing full coverage. I've really been enjoying it so far, but I've been working on like the background, so it hasn't been very complicated yet. So, but yes, I have her still on the Q-snap. So that is where I've managed to get to. I think this is 5 separate sittings of work. And I know like this doesn't look like that much work maybe to you, but this is like about 750 stitches, which is many, many hours of work. It just doesn't really look like a lot yet. So as I have talked about before, I don't use digital patterns. I'm old-fashioned and I like to use paper patterns. So that's why I can't tell you exactly what the stitch count is, but since this fabric is pre-gridded, I can add it up fairly easily. Each of these squares is 10 by 10, so each filled-in square would be 100 stitches. So I can roughly add up and kind of guesstimate how many stitches this is based on how many squares I have filled in. But anyway, yeah, I've been really enjoying this. This is 2/1 full cross on 25 count even weave. I am loving this fabric so much. I've never stitched on even weave, and I've also never stitched on 25 count, and I think it might be literally my favorite thing I've ever stitched on. So I think going forward for some of my other projects I want to start in the next couple years, I might look at trying to buy like Lugana or something just to see how I like it. Yeah, I really enjoy it though. So that's where we're at with Bohemia. I made her a project bag today. If you guys don't know, Gecko Rouge, they are a company that makes kits. So when you buy the pattern, they sell you like the fabric and the thread as well. And the thread came on this really nice, like little, I'll show you in a second, but it came on a card. It's very organized and I love it, but I have 3 cats and they shed like crazy, especially at this time of year. So I really needed just somewhere to keep all my floss that would help it not be quite as covered in cat hair. So I made this project bag today. Let me pull out some of the stuff in here. So if you don't know, this is what Bohemia looks like. This is the printed cover that came with my kit. The artist behind this is Medusa Dollmaker. Her art is gorgeous. There are so many other patterns by her that I would like to do, but this was the first one. It's so pretty. So this is what I was talking about. This looks crazy right now, sorry. But they send the floss on these numbered cards. I have this color pulled off of the card right now. I actually have it like tied to my scissors because that's like the main background color. So I've been using it like quite a lot. But yeah, so I just needed somewhere to keep that chunk of floss to keep it from getting insanely cat hairy. And then this is the project bag that I put together today. Oh gosh. Oh geez. I like can't do things. I put a little Aries zipper pull. I'm really into astrology. So I got like a whole pack of these little astrology charms. My sign is Aries, so hence the Aries charm. And then this is what the back fabric looks like. So really, really happy with this one. I'm a lot happier actually with how this one came out compared to my first one. I wasn't really unhappy with how my first one came out, but I think this one I was a lot more like set on the method for it. So I really enjoyed. This took me like maybe an hour to whip together, so there's definitely some mistakes on it, and that's my fault for not being careful enough, but that's what you get for being impatient. I talked in the past about possibly selling project bags at some point, and I think that is something that I would consider, but I've been doing some research into like Etsy, specifically Etsy, and I don't know. They take a lot of fees out. And they have some mandatory like programs and stuff that I just don't love that. So I think if I were to sell project bags, it would be something where I would have my own storefront, maybe through Store Envy or something like that. Just so I could avoid as many fees as possible. Websites like that do still have fees that they take out, but Etsy has a lot. If you guys weren't aware, there is going to be a strike against Etsy. They are increasing fees for their sellers by a fair bit, despite having a record-breaking year of profit last year. So I believe it's April 11th through the 18th is when Etsy sellers are asking people to please not purchase anything through the website. I know a lot of people are going to be putting their shops on vacation, so please don't cross the picket line if you guys are regular Etsy shoppers. Again, I believe it's April 11th through 18th of this year. But yeah, basically, if I sell project bags, I don't think it'll be until I have a larger following, because I don't want to I don't know, the advertising bit is like a lot because this would just be like a hobby type deal and not like a a whole business type thing, I guess. I don't know. So maybe basically is what I'm saying. I don't know. I forgot to mention too, I did I did zip this through my serger because this fabric frays so easily. That is one thing that's really nice about my sewing background is I do have a serger and I didn't have to buy it specifically for cross stitch, so that was very helpful. So yes, all my edges on that are serged so they won't be unraveling. One other thing related to Bohemia and all my whips actually, I recently got, I can't remember what shop this is from, so I'll go ahead and link their shop in the description. But I saw one of the Flosstubers I watch using these and I thought that it would be really helpful for me. So this is a 3-year project tracker. As you can see at the top, you just put the name of the project, the designer, and then you can keep track of like what fabric you're using and stuff. I've got my start date on there, and then I've just been Xing off the days that I've been stitching on this. And then on the back, it's got 2023 and 24 as well. I believe they have a 5-year version and a 1-year version as well. But yeah, this has been really helpful for me. I'm not great at remembering things. I just have a really bad memory. So this is really nice particularly for my WIPGO, which we will talk about. But yeah, I have one of these for all of my projects now. This is a PDF, so you do have to be able to print it yourself. I just printed it onto some cardstock so that it could not fall apart immediately. But yes, this has been very helpful for me. So, I guess let's touch on WIPGO really quick. Oh yeah, I forgot. The project tracker also comes with a yearly tracker, and I put that into my cross stitch notebook. This I've been using to just kind of give an overview of like when I started projects, when they got called for WIPGO, and when I completed a WIPGO for them. So not like super necessary, but kind of nice to have just at a glance. But yes, I did redo my WIPGO and I've got it updated. So see if I can do this so that you can actually see. So this is where we're at. The ones that are highlighted in the color are ones that I have completed. So yes, April numbers got called last week, and the numbers were 10 and 7, and for me that was another 6 outlines or fills on my Pokemon cross stitch, and 2 drops for my That Which Does Not Kill Us stitch along, which is a like toxic plant stitch along. I'm very behind on it, so yes. I've actually done a fair bit on this. Like I talked about last time, I did give Bohemia her own row on the top here, and none of those numbers have been called yet, but I've stitched on it for 5 days already, so I went ahead and marked one of them as complete. I chose this one because it gets me the closest to a bingo, which I would like. So yes. So I've got 5 days on Odile complete, 5 days on Bohemia, 5 days on Fox Autumn, and then I have 2 of the 3 Pokemon ones completed. Those are at the bottom. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to see. But yes, the Pokemon has been called 3 times for me now. So I have a little bit of catching up, but I'm much more caught up than I was before. So I've given myself some rewards for my WIPGO. So if I get a bingo, which would be down, across, or diagonal, I get to buy fabric for the ultimate epic Pokemon cross stitch that I've really been wanting to start for like quite some time. And then if I complete 10 separate squares, they don't have to be in bingos or anything. There are some teapot patterns that I've really been wanting to purchase. And then if I complete everything on here, I'm allowed to buy another Gecko kit. And that would be Folk Witch by Medusa Dollmaker. So that's where we're at on WIPGO. Stuff that's been called that I still haven't completed would be the 2 stitch along drops. I have a total of 10 days on Fox Autumn, so 2 squares worth, and 1 other box for Pokemon, so another 6 outlines or fills. So I'm in a lot better place on this than I was the last time I updated you guys. It did really help me to go back through and redo this because yeah, it's just been a lot easier for me to track numbers of days instead of like hours and stuff. So I did do some work on that Pokemon stitch, as I said. I keep it in a waterproof pillowcase cover. So let me get that out. It's because this is on a scroll frame, so it doesn't fit in a project bag. So, oh, this is upside down. Yes, this is the original 151 Pokemon, but they are in a like smaller sprite form. This is not the Epic Pokemon cross stitch. This is a little bit different than that, but it still has all of the Pokemon from Kanto. So I actually did these 6 all last night, pretty much. So I did Poliwrath, Abra, Tentacool, Dugtrio, Diglett, and Meowth. So that would be 6 outlines that I finished all in one sitting. And I'm actually really impressed with myself. I used to only be able to do 2 or 3 in one sitting, just because I would get like really fatigued from all the counting. But working on the larger projects I've been doing, like Odile and Bohemia, I find that it's a lot easier for me to stitch for longer periods of time. I think I'm just more used to it. This is on 14 count white Ada. It is so weird to go back to stitching on a really low count Ada after I've been working on the 25 count even weave, and for Odile it's a 36 count linen. It's just been super weird to go back to this. I feel like the stitches are huge. But yeah, this is really quick and easy for me to get 6 of them done last night. So we're getting really close to being done with all the outlines. I think maybe by the end of April I'd like to have all the outlines done. That might be a little bit ambitious considering all the other stuff I have to catch up on for WIPGO, but I would really like to get some good progress in on this because, like I've said before, I originally wanted to have this finished by the end of 2021, which has long since come and gone. So yes, that's where we're at. I've just got 2 outlines left on this row, and then I have quite a few more up here that I just need to I need to unroll the scroll frame and move it, but yep. Oh, I am so scatterbrained today. One other thing with WIPGO that I forgot to mention, if you guys have seen all my Flosstube videos, you might remember that in my first one, when I originally talked about WIPGO, I had a different project on my WIPGO board, and it was called Pumpkin Dance. I decided to take that one off of my WIPGO board. Back when I made my original WIPGO board, I didn't have as many whips. I mean, even right now I only have 5, so I don't have a lot, but that one, the Pumpkin Dance one, I hadn't started at all, and it's a really small stitch, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and wait until like the fall. It's a very autumnal themed cross stitch, so I think I could get that done in just a few days in September or October, so I'm just going to leave that one off, and then when I get to it, I get to it. So that's what happened to that one. If any of you guys remembered it, that's why I took it off. So 2 other topics I want to touch on. One of them is about Gecko Rouge. So recently I've joined the Gecko Rouge Facebook group. I think it's just called Gecko Rouge. I don't remember. It's just the regular Facebook group. And one of the admins often posts pictures of all of the kits that they're shipping out that day. And I like to look through them just to kind of get ideas of other kits I might have missed on their website. And one of them that I saw was of Bast. And if you guys are not aware, Bast is an Egyptian goddess, and she is actually my main deity. I'm pagan, and she's just the energy that I choose to work with in my practice. So I'm looking over here because my altar is over there, and I've got some statues of her. So I saw this stitch, and I went to go find it on their website, and it was a gold members exclusive kit, which means you have to be a paid member in order to purchase the kit. So I went ahead and got a Gecko Gold membership. Basically what you get for that, it is, I believe it's £10 a month, which for US dollars translates to like $13.50-ish, which is very reasonable. And then every 6 months you get a £60 voucher. So you pretty much get your money back from like paying the membership fee. And you can use that voucher on a new kit or whatever you're purchasing from them. You also get like a percentage off all your purchases, and you get access to the exclusive kits and an exclusive Facebook group. So with all of that, I thought it would be like very much in my best interest to do that, especially because I really wanted this Bast kit. So that is probably going to be something I'm purchasing soon. I'm hoping that I can use some of my birthday money for that. It's not a super huge or super expensive kit. I think it's under £100. I want to say it's around 80 something. I don't quite remember. But it's a little bit smaller than Bohemia, so I don't feel too bad about purchasing it. Also, it's by an artist that I've actually been following for a really long time. Her name is Scandy Girl. My best friend actually like commissioned art from her to get as a tattoo. They haven't gotten the tattoo yet, but I fucking love Scandy Girl. She's awesome. She has a ton of other designs through Gecko as well. And I'm really interested in stitching some of them. If you guys like animal designs, you should definitely check out the stuff that she has through Gecko because they're so pretty. I love them. But yes, so I'm now a Supreme Gecko Gold member, so envy me. But yeah, like I said, I might be getting that kit soon, and I'm 100% sure you guys will hear about it whenever it does arrive to my house, or whenever I order it. The last thing to talk about today, I wanted to touch a little bit more on floss storage, which was what last week's Flosstube was about. I got a new set of drawers, so I was organizing my cross-stitch stash. And I talked about like how I bobbinate all of my DMC floss and keep them in the little bins. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but yeah, so I was pretty comfortable with that, but for some reason after I like edited that video, I started looking into like how other people store their floss. I was just curious, and I heard somebody mention the company Pip and Chip, so I had to look them up. And it was I don't know, either a blessing or a mistake, because I really am interested in their floss chips. They are basically like floss drops. They do their floss chips and their bobbins as like acrylic. They're really nice. I'll make sure to put some pictures in. But they're like very durable, very nice looking printed floss chips and bobbins. And I just think the floss chips are such a good idea. Since getting my Bohemia kit, I really like that I can just snip the bottom of the loops on that and just pull off a thread from that. I do like using the loop method, so I think the next time I cut loops on my threads, I'm going to redo it first so that the thread can be a little bit longer, but otherwise I'm really liking it. And I think switching to floss drops would be really awesome. They also have an idea for storage for them where you get these like bins from IKEA. I'll see if I can like put a picture in of what they look like, but they have they've made racks that you can put in those bins, and then you would just slot the floss chips into the racks so that the floss can hang down and not get all messed up. The only thing about that is it takes up a lot of space. I believe for the full collection, if I were to have every single DMC floss, it would take up like 4 of those things. And I think they're about like 12 inches by 12 inches, which is pretty big. Literally every time I film, I always get interrupted. Like, why? Why is that? I'm so close to being done. I think I was just saying the Pip and Chip floss chips would take up a lot of space to store nicely. But ultimately, I think that they're really practical. You do have to buy the whole set at once. So it's quite expensive. They're like 500 DMC colors. So it's quite a bit of money to buy all of those floss chips at once. So it's something that I'm going to have to sit on because I'll have to save up for it anyway if it is something I decide I want. I think I do have the space for that if I did want to do it. Like, I think I have the space in my bedroom that I would be able to do the storage system that they recommend. And then I think if I have like extra skeins of any colors, I think I could keep those in the little bobbin cases that I have. I think that would be a pretty good system, but I'll have to toss up about it. But if any of you guys use their floss chips or their bobbins, let me know how you like them, because it certainly is an investment. And right now cross stitch is like my main hobby, so I'm not against spending that much money on it. I'm just nervous that I'm gonna hate it. What I really like about them though is that they've got 2 holes for your floss to go into. One is larger and one is smaller, so one of them you would keep like the whole skein on, and then the other one you would keep, you know, because you pull out one strand but then you take, you know, 1 or 2 pieces out of that strand, so you can loop the rest of the 6-piece strand into the smaller one. And I just think that's really practical, especially for me, because I'm definitely known to leave my partly used strands like all over the couch, which is not like a great system. And they've also got a 3rd hole, which is used to put the floss chips on a ring, which, as I showed in last week's Flosstube, I really like using those rings. Currently I put bobbins on them, which makes it like really fat and dramatic looking. But I think just using the floss chips, it would be a lot more manageable and easier to like, I don't know, just easier to flick through. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on that. Again, if you guys have any opinions, let me know. There's cat hair flying everywhere. But I'd really like to know what you guys think about their products or, you know, stuff like that. And for my unnumbered floss, which if you guys did not watch last week's video, I have a lot of unnumbered floss, like a ridiculous amount. And I think what I'm going to do is just kind of go through all of the different color families. I've got like 2 boxes of blue, a box of purple, a box of green, you know, etc. And I think I'm just going to go and organize them from like light to dark. I think that would make it a little bit easier for me to go through and figure out like which color I want to use. I think that would be fairly reasonable. I don't know. Again, I would absolutely love to hear any suggestions that you guys have for all my unnumbered floss, because I would really like to use it up on my Pokemon piece, but it just is so difficult to like sort through and pick the colors that I need right now. So yes, I think that's all I've got for today. Again, I literally got interrupted right at the end of this. But yes, I hope that you all are doing well. Feel free to let me know what your projects are down in the description. I always love hearing about your guys' whips, because then I go and look up the patterns and then I add the patterns to my wish list, and then my wish list gets even longer, and I love that for me. So yes, enjoy the beginning of April. To any of my other April birthday havers, I hope you enjoy your birthday this month. Mine's been very good. So yeah, I will talk to you guys next week. Bye!